This is a public health announcement brought to you by Heather Shepherd,
the Primal Pioneer. Live an outdoor life.
Welcome to the Primal Pioneer podcast. I'm your host, Heather Shepherd, radical health practitioner and creator of the Sunlight RX. As a radical health practitioner, I teach people how to improve their health using practical yet incredibly powerful nature-based resources and practices. I do so by utilizing my health trifecta, the Sunlight RX, EMF mitigation, and my jet fuel diet. This approach has helped me heal my TBI, poor gut health, and anxiety levels, and continues to help thousands of people around the world access root causes of their health struggles as well. During today's episode, I interview certified colon hydrotherapist Amy Herraera. Amy knows her shit, if you know what I mean, when it comes to gut health. Literally, this woman has had an amazing personal health journey, going from drinking soda pop, eating junk food, and literally running off of stress hormones, to completely changing her diet and detoxing her body to regain her health. During today's episode, Amy and I talk about the most effective colon hydrotherapy modalities out there today that she utilizes in her colon hydrotherapy practice. We also talk about concerns around coffee enemas, how to improve mineral absorption during colon hydrotherapy and enemas, the difference between colon hydro and enemas. We talk about the great importance of taking your health into your own hands, and much, much more. Now, let's dive into the episode to learn all about colon hydrotherapy, colon detox, and your health. So today I have Amy on the show with me, and I'm super stoked to have her here to talk with you all about gut health. And we're going to dive into the intricacies of a really cool modality that I was actually just introduced to in the past, couple months. It's called the Angel of Water. Maybe some of you listeners have heard of that, but this is basically a form of colon hydrotherapy that Amy specializes in, and has a lot of huge, vast benefits on the health of the colon, on detoxification. And I'll let her dive into that topic throughout the show here today. But Amy, I just want to welcome you to the show and thank you for taking the time to connect with us and share all of your education and insight and wisdom regarding gut health with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and to talk about this topic that is, for some people, a little bit taboo. So we're gonna just be very candid today and just get right into it. And and nothing's off the table. We can talk about any poo topics you want.
Awesome. Hey, it's not every day that I can talk about people, about their stool or poop or bowel movements. And it's a really big part of my work and practice as well. So, hey, it's nice to have a gut health colleague on the show here.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So you have a colon hydrotherapy practice in Santa Fe, New Mexico right now. Is that right?
I do. I am a CHT colon hydrotherapist practicing in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I recently moved my practice to work with a group of functional medicine practitioners, just about 10 minutes away from my previous office. So we just opened up this week, brand new facility with some functional medicine practitioners, MDs actually, and we are offering a whole new kind of concierge style of detoxification and medicine. There's IV therapy. There is ozone therapy, O3. There is apitherapy, bee sting therapy, lots of different kinds of healing and detoxification therapies for folks. My previous practice was in a skin care facility with some medical estheticians. And because the colon and skin health are so closely related. It kind of worked perfectly, but I just needed a little bit more space. I'm getting an ozone sauna and a far infrared sauna. I needed more space to facilitate that. So I've expanded and moved. But I am still in Santa Fe, and I am open for business, and it's great. Very exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So needed during this time with so many people are looking to boost their immune systems, and what a better way to do it than to detox all the crap that's been stored in our body for so many years. So what an awesome resource. Thank you for being open and for just offering these really amazing healing services to the community there in Santa Fe.
Right. It's definitely needed right now. Well, it's really good in Santa Fe because it is a very dry climate. And with the procedure that I do, my colon hydrotherapy device, Angel of Water is the name of the device. It's a gravity-fed colon hydrotherapy system. And it is very gentle flow of water into the colon. So the water comes in at 1 PSI versus, like a faucet. To turn on a faucet, it's 60 PSI, pounds per square inch, to even get that water through the faucet. Well, my device is 1 PSI. So water's going in slowly. It's hydrating the colon and just slowly moving out the junk through that, 5 feet of colon. It's not just irrigating the colon and cleansing out the toxins and the old stuff, and the dried up poop and the, whatever else, bacteria, parasites, whatever else is like lingering or undigested food, things like that. But it's also really hydrating for the body, and that's super important. In any climate, but especially here because it is so dry. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to get into the nuts and bolts of the Angel of Water. But before we dive into that topic, I'd love to know, and for you to share with the listeners here, how did you get into colon hydrotherapy? And, tell us a little bit about your personal journey here.
Right. Absolutely. So it's kind of, goes back, of course, like everybody's journey. Growing up, I grew up in Northern California, and my family, my aunt and uncle, had a dairy farm. So I grew up in the part of California where there's a lot of produce, a lot of lettuce, a lot of strawberries. I grew up in a town where actually Driscoll strawberries were are, they still are. And so growing up on a dairy farm, I didn't have very good eating habits, to be honest. And I did do a lot of antibiotics, and my mom's a nurse. So I did take a lot of antibiotics as a kid, constant ear infections, just, sick a lot, very sickly, and was actually allergic to dairy, but I didn't have, that good gut health anyways. And then pile on top of that, poor eating habits. I mean, we're talking about pancakes with sugar and milk poured on top. That white sugar and milk. I mean, who eats that? But we did. And then my parents ended up moving, and and they just got really busy with their jobs. And then we were kind of left to our own devices. And I can remember eating like an ice cream sandwich for breakfast or something like that when I was a kid.
Sure.
Just stuff, whatever we had, super pretzels, things from Costco, from the freezer,
Yeah.
And like a lot of us that are the same age as I am, it was kind of like a latchkey situation. And my parents did the best they could. They didn't really know, I think that down the road there was going to be issues, but as I got older, my stomach hurt all the time. Like I remember sitting on the toilet and not being able to go to the bathroom, like for long periods of time, like just like strained to be able to go to the bathroom a lot. And I had no connection to what I was putting in my body was what was going to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so that kind of led me down the path of, well, if my stomach hurt when I ate, I'm not going to eat. Right.
Okay.
I, would try and like eat very little. And then of course, I went to fashion school. I wanted to be a fashion, a buyer for a large company. I started working for this massive company that is still around, and they're, one of the leaders of high-end fashion. And I was in my 20s and drinking, when I got hungry, I would drink black coffee and a diet soda. And sometimes I would eat a diet bar or smoke a cigarette. I mean, terrible nutrition. I just like look back at pictures of myself and I looked gray. But you know, always the motto was never too rich or too skinny. So I just kept going and going like that until all of a sudden one day it came on, you know, I just ignored it, but, wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating properly at all. And I just couldn't get out of bed anymore. Literally could not lift my arm up.
Wow.
Couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't even, I mean, I had to quit my job basically. It was like,
wow.
It was pretty like intense. And I had gone to the doctor and they, regular MD, and they like tried to do all these, I think they put me on Prilosec, which is like, now it's over the counter, which is like for ulcers. But I'm sure I just didn't have any hydrochloric acid.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And then I remember actually when I was this is going back again, but when I was in high school, I went to the doctor because I could not poop. And they said I had chronic constipation and gave me mineral oil to drink, and I shit my pants at school.
Oh my God.
High school.
That's intense.
And I had to go home. I was so like, there's so many like embarrassing moments around that. Because of like this constant, either I had massive diarrhea because I was taking all this stuff that the doctors gave me, or I was constipated constantly. So this just went on and on until finally there was a breaking point. And I knew that the doctors didn't have the answers. So I quit my job and I moved to a little town called Mendocino and started working at a place called Living Light in Fort Bragg, which is a raw vegan culinary arts institute. When you work there, it's a work trade program because it's very hard work and you work long hours, but you get to go to school for free. So I became a raw food chef and just jumped right into raw foodism.
Wow. Okay.
I'm telling you, like, Heather, you would be like shocked. These women that were around me were so vibrant, so full of energy. They were just amazing, like just glowing, and they were older than I was. I was like, whatever she has, I want that. And I just went into it like just full force, became a raw vegan and started feeling good again. Like actually started feeling amazing. And I met my husband who is a raw food chef, and he, started feeding me good food, and I started eating good food and started taking care of myself. And just little by little, just really like started feeling my body again and started caring about what I was putting in, and realized that was the most important thing, is what you put into your body is what you get out of it. The one problem is that I was not pooping still.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're eating all this fiber and you're starting to feel good, but you're just, there's still something going, the fiber is really detoxifying. Like it's pulling, it's almost acts like a binder. It's pulling all those toxins out, helping with, your hormones and everything else. But if you're not pooping, if you're not getting it out, then there is a problem. So yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it was not good. I was bloated all the time. I was super gassy, which is fine. It's your body's getting used to all the fiber, but I still wasn't really pooping. So when I moved to Santa Fe, my husband got recruited to be someone's raw food chef in Santa Fe. So we moved here, and I met an amazing colon hydrotherapist who started helping me, and she changed my life. It was amazing. It wasn't right away, but it was pretty significant, pretty quick.
Okay.
The difference. From one session to the next, you could actually see the color in my face come back. You could see the brightness in my eyes. Something was not getting through before, and all of a sudden something was. My allergies lifted, my brain fog lifted, I felt amazing. And that's really the story. I asked this person if they would train me to be a colon hydrotherapist, and they said they would. And then that person took me under her wing and taught me everything she knew. And we're still friends. And now I have a practice, and I'm her competition, but she trained me like I was so appreciative, and still I'm so appreciative of this person, because I would not know, I wouldn't have the bedside manner I have and not know the things I know, because things happen in that room that, you need to be aware of that I didn't learn in school. So of course I went to school, but I didn't learn the stuff that she taught me. So anyways, and now I have my practice and I'm helping people, and it makes me so happy to be able to help people.
That is awesome. I love it.
Long story short.
No, that's a great story, because you know what? I think people don't realize, like, they go through this journey where they don't feel good or look good. They do the thing with like the energy drinks or the coffee or, the poor eating habits. And then they start to get like super tired and can't get out of bed, and then, feel bad because they can't go to their job. And so then maybe the first step is they change their diet, but you really stuck with it because you knew that was like a huge part of your journey. But then there was still, you were having constipation. So you're like, oh, well, I need to dig a little deeper. And you came across this woman who really helped you to make that next shift with your health. That's so amazing that you were able to stick with it and commit to it, and how dedicated you are to the journey.
Right. It's been 13, almost 14 years.
Very cool.
So, that's the one thing I tell people. It doesn't happen overnight, and definitely it's really, honestly, over anything else, I've worked since I sell supplements. I've worked in supplements. Supplements are great. But you know what? Food is the key.
Yeah.
That is the key. There's nothing like good food. Nothing.
Well, I totally hear you there. And, it sounds like, so you've had your practice there for what, about 13 years in Santa Fe, huh?
No, well, I, it's funny. I worked in, my husband and I had a business where we private chef for people. And
Okay.
I worked in a supplement, setting for several years also, until, I went to school about 4 or 5 years ago to be a colon hydrotherapist. So so I've only been doing it for that, for 4 or 5 years.
Awesome.
So that's about how long, but, I've learned a lot in that time, and I'm still learning, continuing to learn, on a regular every day.
Yeah. I mean, with health, literally I learn something new every day about health and healing. And it's such an endless topic. So it's really awesome that you're on this healing journey. And I know, especially I personally haven't experienced the Angel of Water treatment therapy, but my partner has, and has struggled with poor gut health. She has somewhat of a similar story to you, but nothing has basically touched her digestive issues. And I know that as soon as she started to add in the Angel of Water practice, that she started to see some really big shifts in her gut health. And, I think adding in all the stuff that, I was doing and she was doing to help her heal. And then the Angel of Water was like, whoa, this is really a huge piece here when you add this huge detoxification, modality onto this. So first of all, I know there's a lot of different colon hydrotherapy practices out there. Right. So maybe I think a lot of people are really familiar with colonics. So tell us a little bit about what's the difference, say, between going in for like a standard colonic therapy treatment and the treatment that you utilize using the Angel of Water. So let me say that the Angel of Water is a system that is gravity fed, and the difference between that and a traditional colonic is colon hydrotherapy. We kind of have changed the name because there's like a kind of a negative connotation with colonic. So we've changed the name over the years to Colon Hydrotherapist, which sounds fancier, but doesn't it? I like it. Yeah.
The way I was trained on the method, which is a closed system, which is different than my system, which is open, gravity fed. The closed system is pressurized. So the colon hydrotherapist has control of the colon hydrotherapy device and is turning the water from pressurized to gravity fed in the treatment. So the water's going in with a little bit of pressure, okay, more than 1 PSI. And then they change the dial when you say, okay, I feel full, I've got to release. They change it to gravity fed, and then the water just flows out of you. Whereas with the Angel of Water, the client has, or patient has, control of the water. The water's flowing in with gravity the whole time. So water attracts water, right? Just like with your skin, right? When you take a shower and you put moisturizer on, it stays on if your face is wet versus if you dry off and then you moisturize. It's kind of that. I look at it like that. So water attracting water. If water's constantly flowing into your colon, it's filling up your colon slowly, and it's helping the rest of that water or waste release. So the job of, there's a lot of jobs of the colon, but one of the main jobs of the colon, or the large intestine, which is again 5 feet long, is to pull the mineral-rich water through the walls of the colon. Okay, so the body pulls the mineral-rich water through the walls, and what's mixed with that water, and besides feces, is minerals, right? So those minerals are going to, if you're ever dehydrated in your life, your body's pulling that water through the walls of your colon. Okay, or if you have like a serious mineral imbalance or anything going on in the body, your body will try and kind of balance it out by pulling that water through the walls. Okay, and what's mixed that water, the poop, dries on the walls. Okay, and if you're chronically dehydrated, you have layers and layers and layers over time. I mean, how many of us, like when we were 21, we went out, oh, it's your 21st birthday, you're going to go out and get, drink a lot of beer or whatever, and tie one on, and then you're so dehydrated, right? Well, whatever was in your colon is dried up in there. It is. You have your colon, it has a lot of little folds and places and ridges for waste to hide, and it just gets right in there. And then what attracts, not really attracts, I say attracts, but there's more of a science term for it, but what ends up happening is that there's a fermentation that goes on with that old waste, and then you get gas, and then that gas just kind of hangs out and acts like a plug. So it's like a vicious cycle, the gas acting like a plug. So you're super gassy, and but you can't really get out the waste because it's dried up in there, and then the gas is acting like a plug, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just hard to get it moving. It's hard to hydrate enough unless you bring the water in and hydrate and then move out the waste. Okay. And so both standard colon hydrotherapy and the Angel of Water, do they both achieve this hydration in the colon? Absolutely. Okay. They're both amazing systems. Like I said, I've worked on both systems. Angel of Water is a little bit more of gentle detoxification, and the client can feel more, in my opinion, more comfortable because they have control. They feel there's like this, you're actually in control, and they don't have to say, okay, and also the practitioner, I can step out of the room. It's really good for men because men are what I call poop shy. So they don't want to poop in front of me. They're holding everything in when the water's going in, and they're like, stomach hurts because they're holding everything in. And I'm like, just go, let it go. And they're like, get out. So I can leave the room for a second, let them release. And they feel better. They're not so panicked. And I come back in and I can talk them through the rest of the procedure. Whereas with a closed system, the colon hydrotherapist is holding that rectal tube right there at your anus. Oh, okay. That seems much more. Yeah, it's an older kind of system. It's an older way of doing it. The Angel of Water is a very kind of advanced, the newest, it's the nicest, newest system. If you go to someone that has an Angel of Water system, it's a really good place because it's an investment for the system. Okay. That's awesome. And it feels much more, I don't know, I want to say safe for the patient and comfortable, and there's more privacy that can happen, for those who want it and need it around,
because for me, I'm someone who's like, there's no way I'm going to get, colon hydrotherapy and the practitioner is going to stand. Like, I'm one of those shy people. I'm not going to stand there
Right.
and I don't want you to see me pooping everywhere. So,
right. And most people, most people are like that until you get to know me, and then I just hang out with you, and you're pooping, and I'm talking, and we're like laughing, and we're like best friends. We'll be BFFs if you come see me. But it's like, it's also just to say, and I'm going to say this because this is really important to say, there's a lot of emotions tied into your digestive system.
Yes.
It can be so emotional, and if I'm standing right there, you may not be able to let go of those, process those things. You may have eaten a ham sandwich when you were 5 years old, that had a lot of gross, like nitrates and weird stuff in it when you were at your grandma's funeral, and you had all these feelings and emotions when you ate that. And it's still kind of all those, whatever that was in that ham sandwich is still lingering in your digestive system. And when you're releasing on the colon hydrotherapy session, you may want to cry.
Yes.
You may want to scream. And if I'm standing right there, like staring at you, it may not feel as comfortable. That's the benefit.
I think that's really important to bring up, because I know that, some people now today are getting this relationship between, the emotions and the physical body and the emotions and the digestion. But, I think these really intricate layers that you're talking about, like, hey, you were at your grandparents' funeral and you're eating a ham sandwich, right? That blocked up your intestines. But what also went into that was a huge whopping dose of grief with those nitrates as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's a really good point. And thanks for sharing that, because I feel like people, like, they want to go and they want to have a detox, but you're not just going to get a physical detox, especially if there's, these other layers you're going to get to that really want to come out. Right.
And this is a very safe place to be able to let it go. And I say that during the session, just let it go, leave it here. I'm going to say this, and it's a joke. Okay. But I say it's just going to the Santa Fe River, just let it go to the river. And, and it's just, it's a very safe place to be able to let go. And that's one of the reasons people feel so good after, on top of all the other, their brain fog is lifted, their eyes are more clear, there's actually blood flow to their brain again, things like that.
Yeah. Yes. So, one of the things that I thought was like super unique, and I'm like, that's a really good idea, is that after my partner started to get treatments from you, she was like, Amy uses, I think they're the Quicksilver minerals. Is that, yes.
Yeah, I do. And so for people that have, like, that are more, it depends. There's a couple different types of Quicksilver minerals, but there's the isotonic and the hypertonic, and then there's one other. But I really think that, because that's one thing that can get depleted, right, is minerals during the session. It's a misconception. People think that it washes out your good gut bacteria, because your body actually makes its own bacteria. It comes in through the walls of your colon as well.
Yes.
So doing a series of 3 colonics is not going to wash out all your good gut bacteria unless you're seriously compromised. But I still don't believe that it would. There's no studies that tell me that it does. But the mineral imbalance is a very big deal. So we want to make sure we keep, the minerals, in the body. We don't want to wash out all those good valuable minerals. So those are some minerals that I really love. There's others that I love, but I just love Quicksilver and their whole company and all their products. So also, you know what? We're in Santa Fe and New Mexico. There's no ocean around. So,
right.
If you're used to having some of that ocean, those minerals, those are algae blooms, and it's good to get that in. I sometimes, with certain clients, I will put a little bit of the Quicksilver in the water, or sometimes I'll just tell them, hey, drink it, after the session. It's kind of specific to the client. I don't put really anything else in the water, except for sometimes I'll do some probiotic implant. I use a restructured water. So it's a vortex that is really detoxifying and hydrating to the body. I believe in water, restructured water is very powerful. So that's really, just pure water is good enough. unless there's a little, we could do a little bit of probiotic because that's where it's got to go. So we might as well just put it there. If the person is kind of has a very compromised gut, or the minerals, we can, I'll do those, add those too, but I don't really add anything else to the water. A lot of people talk about the coffee. You can go to Colon Hydrotherapist and get coffee implants after the colon, and the coffee really does something different. So it's not like a colon cleansing; it's more of a detoxification of the liver.
If you're looking to add more arsenal to your gut healing protocol, of course, get your colon hydrotherapy on, but also let's hook you up with a long-term support system when it comes to overcoming your gut health struggles. This is all about sunlight. I used to struggle with multiple gut infections, SIBO, candida overgrowth, and IBS. I changed my diet. That helped a little in the beginning, then tapered off. I tried adding in more fiber. That didn't hit the root of my issue. Then, along with my TBI healing journey, I created and discovered the Sunlight RX. Not only did I make leaps and bounds with my brain health, but the more and more I practiced the Sunlight RX, the better my digestion got. This was totally unexpected, but is an awesome bonus and side effect of practicing the Sunlight RX. A big part of the Sunlight RX, especially for those looking to improve gut health, is that you have to get your Sunlight RX on. Yes, of course, but you also have to get your gut in sunlight. In my Sunlight RX ebook, I lay out step-by-step how you can use sunlight in therapeutic ways, including how to utilize specific solar frequencies to boost serotonin, dopamine, T3, melatonin, and vitamin D levels, which are all main components to solid gut health. Head over to my site, heathershepherd.com, to purchase your copy of the Sunlight RX ebook to start taking your gut health up a notch or two, or hey, maybe even 20. Or you can head over to my site solely dedicated to gut healing, ancestraldigestion.com, to purchase your copy of the Sunlight RX ebook and learn more about gut health. Now, let's get back to the episode to learn more from Amy, all about colon hydrotherapy and gut health. So let's see. I want to get into coffee enemas too a little bit here and the difference. But before we go there, one thing that I really love and resonate with what you're doing is, one, you're adding in these really high quality minerals to help, the colon absorb those minerals and rehydrate. Because I think that's a big mistake a lot of people do, is when they're doing some kind of colon hydrotherapy or even an enema that they'll use, they won't think about their water they're using, and it's not mineralized at all. It's not structured. So I know in my practice, I focus a lot on teaching people how to make structured water in their mitochondria, but really having structured water in your colon hydrotherapy session, I mean, that's amazing. What are some of the benefits that, or like, why do you choose that? Why are you like, hey, this is the kind of water I want to use for this therapy? Like, share with us a little bit about that.
Oh, so many reasons. So water is life,
Yes.
We're made out of water, right? Just like you use it in your practice teaching people about water. The water is just regular water, first of all, if that's what you have to have and you don't have money and you have to just drink regular water, it's good. Just, it's okay. Just drink regular water. It's better than, soda or coffee or whatever. But if you're drinking, reverse osmosis water, that's great too, but you need to get those minerals back in that water.
Right.
Also adding pink sea salt to that water is a big one. And then because through the reverse osmosis, it takes out all the impurities of water and also strips the minerals. So then the next step would be, in my opinion, would be restructuring the water to make the water so you can actually absorb it into your cells.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that actually really hydrates you and really detoxifies you.
Awesome.
So that's why I use it, and it's a big upgrade on my machine. or my device. I can't really say that I know of very many colon hydrotherapists that have water restructuring systems on their colon hydrotherapy devices. Some do, I'm sure, but I just don't know of any offhand.
Neither do I. And I think it's a really, not only is it unique, but it makes so much sense from just a physiological standpoint, because, from my learning this far about structured water is that, structured water is highly charged. So you're going to be putting more electrical current and electrical charge back into the body. And anyone suffering from any chronic health disorder, constipation, IBS, leaky gut, their electrical charge and electrical activity in the area of the body is going to be compromised. So this is like really getting more electrical current into the colon from like the standpoint that, I'm thinking about when you're sharing how you use structured water in your practice. I think it's awesome. And I hope that there's other colon hydrotherapists that listen to this episode and are inspired to explore that, because it's such a phenomenal, it just takes the power of the modality up like 1,000 notches.
Right. And people have said that once they experience a session with this restructured water, they've said they've noticed a difference, that it's powerful.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit, let's bring in coffee enemas, because I know a lot of people that I work with, and just in general, I mean, on a lot of the cancer social media, Facebook forums or other social platforms, a lot of people look to coffee enemas. I think there's a time and place for them, but I think that they can definitely be upgraded, and that there's also some downfalls. So I'd love to just hear your expert opinion on what you feel about coffee enemas.
Well, because, I know that your audience is pretty well schooled. I can go into a little bit. So, okay, coffee enema versus colon hydrotherapy. Coffee enema detoxifies the liver. So how does it do that? It, glutathione is an enzyme, or really it's the most abundant antioxidant in the body. And when you put coffee through through your rectum, through that, there's a vein, it's the hemorrhoidal, or it's really a nerve. It's right there. Okay. It gets right into the bloodstream. And so what happens is coffee is really high in palmitic acid. And so you are causing your liver to, and the palmitic acid is what your liver needs to make, I'm not going to get all sciencey, but in layman's terms, to make the glutathione. Okay. So it increases the glutathione production in your liver by like hundreds of % when you put that coffee, insert it rectally, and it goes into your bloodstream and gets right into the liver. So you are causing your body to, or your liver to really start making glutathione, to increase that glutathione production, which in turn really detoxifies your liver. The thing which is amazing, but it also increases bile flow. So it kind of gets everything, when you release, so you're holding it for 12 to 15 minutes, your blood is circulating through your body and through your liver, filtering every, 3 minutes. So when you sit on the toilet and you release that coffee, you're getting rid of a lot of toxins, which is amazing. You're also increasing bile flow, it's you're spitting out bile. So the problem, there's not a problem. It's just, you're only getting about a foot in the coffee, about a foot into your colon. So if you really want to cleanse your colon, the best way to do that is colon hydrotherapy. Even an enema will only get about a foot. Like I said, your colon is 5 feet long, and there's a lot of little places for, little ridges and lots of space for junk to hide. Plus there's layers and layers and layers of junk. So, I have clients who do have cancer who do coffee enemas 2-3 times a day, and they come to colon hydrotherapy, and they'll be like, yeah, I just had a huge dump of yuck yesterday. There's no way there's much left in me. And there is so much in them. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
coffee is amazing for detoxifying the liver, you know, but you're not really cleaning out your colon. You know, if you have, you know, if you struggle with like, you know, brain fog on the regular, you know, allergies, any type of seasonal allergies or food allergies, if you struggle with, you know, headaches, acne, you know, chronic, of course, constipation, or even diarrhea, depression, anxiety, you're tired all the time, you're bloated, you really want to look to doing a colon hydrotherapy session versus a coffee enema. Now, if you're looking to detoxify your liver, you know, really coffee enema is amazing. And I did coffee enemas every other day for 2 years. So I know, you know, it helped me, it helped heal me. But really, like I said, like I told you in the beginning, the colon hydrotherapy was what really was the thing that really got my health on the, besides the food, it really got my health on the straight and narrow.
I think that's a really good point, because I think most people who looked at coffee enemas, like they're doing an enema, so it makes sense, like in a linear way, that we would think that, oh, it's going to help detox the colon, and while it does a small amount, it can't reach to the depths of getting to the nooks and crannies of the 5 feet of colon as, say, colon hydrotherapy can do. So I think that's really huge for people to hear.
Yeah, and I mean, people do, you know, there's a lot of other kinds of enemas that you can do, you know, and we don't have to get into that for different things, you know, aloe, et cetera, but really just pure water, you know, in the colon, you know, we can add a little bit of minerals, maybe a little bit of probiotics, but even just pure structured water is just the ticket. It really is.
Yeah. And, you know, often for my clients who are drawn to doing coffee enemas, you know, one of my concerns is if they do it on a consistent basis, that the coffee will end up dehydrating their colon. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. It can be stripping and drying for the colon. Yeah. Even though you're increasing that bile flow, which is like almost like an oily kind of a, you know, it almost seems a little bit oily. That's just toxins, you know, it can be very dehydrating, be very drying. And, you know, you want to make sure you're getting that out. When you you know, when you sit on the toilet, sometimes I've talked to people that do a lot of coffee enemas, and then they do a coffee enema one day, and it won't come out because their colon is so dehydrated, and it's what happens is your colon will start pulling that, even if it's coffee, it's going to start pulling that water to hydrate. That's why I tell people when they come in for a session, make sure you're hydrated, because what's the job of your colon? It's to pull the water to hydrate your body. So if it's mixed coffee, it doesn't matter. It will start pulling that water, and then those toxins are still there, and then they're recirculating. So, you know, you can use it in conjunction with a good colon hydrotherapy session or two. But doing it often, if you're not well hydrated, or if you're doing them too much, can be. That's why, you know, in Gerson therapy, they say do 2 green juices for every 1 coffee enema. Because you got to get that everything hydrated, and you got to get those minerals back in. Yeah,
I think that I think a lot of people, like, I think the Gerson therapy was really an awesome therapy in its, you know, what shall we say, primordial sense, like from its root, like when it was first born. Now people have taken that therapy and done so much to it that, like just what you're mentioning, it's like, well, we don't connect the dots as to why so many juices were recommended, and then fresh pressed liver juice, and then coffee enemas, and then the great importance of that, of getting all those minerals from the juice in your cells and body to counter any dehydration that may occur from the coffee enemas.
And it all goes back to food. It all goes back to food. You see, it's like, it goes back to it, which I think is so cool. But also, you know, the castor oil packing and things like that I recommend for people, you know, getting that blood to the area what comes with the blood is the oxygen, and that heals. Doing things like that on your liver also are amazing for detoxifying your liver. And I think sometimes we forget about these other things that might take a little more time, that you may not see results. People really like, a quick result. I think they see, a lot came out in the toilet, and so they see that, and they think that that's the best. But I think a combination of a lot of other modalities is really important in your detox practice.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good point around the castor oil packs, because one, it can support the detox process that I would guess continues after the session, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's why we recommend people don't eat any raw vegetables after the session, because it's a lot, your body takes a lot of energy to digest a lot. And if you can, free up some of that energy to keep detoxing after the session, then, you'll be way better off, because your body's still detoxing. Adding the castor oil pack and maybe doing some juicing after is pretty awesome. It's great, a little protocol for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to be sure anyone tuning in here, don't just think you can go out and get any castor oil. I would highly recommend, a glass bottle, organic castor oil. Do you have a brand that you actually use or like?
Amy? I do. I use it's so funny. It's called the Queen of Thrones castor oil. And the gal, Dr. Marisol, she is an FMD, and she's also a colon hydrotherapist in Canada. And she invented this amazing castor oil pack and castor oil that you can actually buy it online and, get it shipped from Canada to your home. I sell them in my office, but the pack is amazing because it's the only pack I've ever seen like it. You roll it out, you put the castor oil on, and then you tie it on, and it doesn't go through like the wool flannel. It's organic wool flannel, totally high quality. You don't have to put plastic on top of it, heat it up, it's self-heating. And then you just use it, reuse and reuse and reuse. You don't have to make it cumbersome, castor oil pack that takes you 15, 20 minutes every night. I do it every night. It takes me 2 minutes and put it on. I put it across my belly button sometimes. I put it on my kidneys, on my liver. I switch it around. And it's just, the thing about castor oil, when placed on your stomach right across your belly button, it releases oxytocin. So, and we all know about oxytocin.
For sure.
Good. So, you sleep like a freaking baby. It's amazing. And I mean, again, sleep is another thing that is so important for health.
Yes.
Yes. Sunlight and sleep. Those are, so important.
Yes. I totally agree. Sunlight, sleep, diet, colon health. Yes. Right. 100%. So, you know what? The thing about the castor oil is I remember when I was in my 20s and I was really I was just starting acupuncture school. And so I got really into castor oil packs and did a lot of them on my liver, on my abdomen. But I can't even tell you how many towels and bed sheets I totally destroyed from doing the castor oil packs. So I think if you're worried about, ruining your sheets or your clothes, which was a big one for me too. What you're recommending here is I honestly, I didn't see it until, I heard of you in your practice, but where can people find this specific pack if they just want to say they're not in Santa Fe and they want to purchase it to do castor oil packs at home?
So Dr. Marisol, the Queen of Thrones, she has a website and she has a YouTube channel. She will show you how to do it. She'll talk all about it. It's amazing. And all the other benefits, of castor oil over, for hair growth, over your eyes, to help puffiness, baggy, eye bag, to help your eyebrows and eyelashes grow. So Dr. Marisol, Queen of Thrones, I think queenofthrones.com possibly, or you can go to my website and I'll ship to you. I'll ship to anyone in the States too.
Oh, good.
So,
good. What's your website?
bodyflowsantafe.com. And you just email me
Awesome.
and I'll get it to you. I'll get it out to you the next day.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So either way, we just
awesome,
want people
yeah.
to have these healing modalities, however they can get their hands on them. I just want people to feel better, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you're looking for so they can get the castor oil from you and the pack, and you can ship that out to them.
Absolutely.
Okay, you guys go head over and do that. I highly recommend it. Your liver is going to feel better, your digestion, your colon, really, really awesome. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I know we didn't really talk much about this, but I wanted to revisit this. Like, okay, why would somebody go get like colon hydrotherapy from you or somebody using the angel of water modality? Like, you know, because a lot of people have physical and or emotional health symptoms, but they don't know what to do about it. So like, what are some symptoms, physical and or emotional, that somebody might be having that, you know, the angel of water modality may help to bring relief to?
Wow. I mean, there's so many that, I mean, so bloating, IBS, depression, anxiety, brain fog, acne, seasonal or food allergies, constipation, chronic diarrhea, people that are trying to, you know, I say cancer, like, I don't mean to say it so lightly, but, you know, a lot of people that are, you know, dealing with cancer, because they're trying to detox, a lot of people with Lyme disease, because they have issues with detoxification and they have immune compromised, systems, any kind of infection, going on, you know, if you're doing any kind of cleanse, you know, and there's so many more, but those are just a few off the top of my head, that we can help with. You know, anxiety and depression are a big one. You know, if you feel gut feeling is not just a gut feeling. It's like you have more neurotransmitters in your digestive system than you have in your brain. So you really, it's been proven that there's a definite connection, from gut health to brain, you know, brain health. So if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling, you know, like just irritable, angry, you know, just depressed, a cold hydrotherapy session can absolutely help. Absolutely. And you know, it's a tough world out there, you know. People are not feeling that great these days about things. And this is something that can really help them get into that, you know, say parasympathetic, sympathetic, you know, to help them make that shift and, you know, feel better. Yes.
So for any of the listeners who are listening to this, like down the line after this episode's released, we're recording this during the whole COVID epidemic crisis thing going on out there. It's been going on for a while. And so, so that's what Amy's referring to if you listen to this down the line. But if you're currently listening to this and you live in Santa Fe, or you know, go on Google and type in Angel of Water, colon hydrotherapist, and like, search these practitioners out to, if it's to help with depression, anxiety, and to help you get out of fight or flight. I think it can be so huge for that. I'm glad you brought that up, you know, really, really huge and beneficial for that. And the neurotransmitter thing, you know, the largest store of serotonin is in our gut.
Right.
You know? So
yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, here's the thing, like, a detox is not a detox. A cleanse is not a cleanse unless you're getting rid of the junk. So, you know, once you can actually get rid of that, you feel so much lighter, so much better. The world seems brighter. And that is all we can ask for. You know what I mean? You just feel so much better. And it's hard to describe until you try it. You know?
I do. I totally, I think that's awesome. It's great advice. I know for me in my personal healing journey, when I was at the peak of struggling with my anxiety, as soon as I started to heal my gut, my anxiety literally started to disappear. And that whole process revolved around helping to replenish and restore my serotonin stores. So I'm right on board with you with regard to the gut-brain connection and how important this therapy is, not only for people with like literally gut issues, but for brain health-related issues as well.
Right. And, you can change, I think they say 5 to 7 days you can change your gut microbiome, but I say with like every meal you can change it, So, getting the junk out, putting the good stuff in. It's like, I look at it like, say you're going into a house and you're going to paint the walls. You want to strip off that old wallpaper before you paint the walls with that fresh paint.
Mm-hmm.
It really does change the terrain. It makes a difference, and everything will be shinier. Everything will be brighter. And it's not for everybody. I have to say, there's one in maybe, 500 people that don't find benefit from it, and that no harm, no foul. They don't. It's not harmful. It doesn't. It's a very safe process. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. But at least try it out, because you could change as I did. It can change your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I want to talk about this, and it's a little bit of an uncomfortable subject for some people, but, some people, when they do, they're afraid of using the coffee enemas because the apparatus that is inserted in the rectum is like, they're like, oh my God, that's so big. Or like, I could never put that, there. So it sounds like the angel of water. And is this standard with the angel of water or just your practice? But it sounds like the apparatus is much more comforting and small and like so far less invasive.
Just the system that I use, the gravity flow system, versus the older system that is pressurized, the gravity fed versus the closed system. So the closed system, the apparatus is larger because, and I wish I could show you, I'm doing a little motion with my hand to show the size, but it's not the size of, it's bigger than a quarter. I'd say it's the size of like a $50. Okay. So that's the old system, the system that I first trained on. That's the pressurized system. Okay. So because you go back through that hole. So the hole that the rectal tube that's going inside you has to be as big as your poop would be. So it's got to be pretty good size, right? So the angel of water and other gravity systems, it's about the size, maybe smaller than your pinky.
Wow.
I mean, you poop bigger than that. You know what I mean? It's small because when you release the water, it goes around that tube. It doesn't have to go back through that tube. It's going down and out. So it's a lot more comfortable for people. It's a lot more comfortable. I mean, people come in and they think that it's going to be like a water hose or like a fire hose. And I'm like, no, it's look at it. It's very small. You don't even notice it's there. It's very comfortable. And it would be like the size of like an enema tube. It's small though. You poop bigger than that. So I tell people, like, come on, if you don't poop bigger than that, you have bigger problems than, if you've never had a bigger poop than the size of a pencil.
Yeah, we
need to talk. Yeah. No judgment, but we need to talk.
No judgment, but call Amy and call me and let's get your poop back on track.
Yes. We'll work on it. We'll do some GI maps.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I know GI maps are so huge. Yes, thank you for mentioning that. They've been a lifesaver in a lot of my clients and my own gut healing, because you can see what pathogens are in there and inflammation levels and immune function capacity, and you can really target specific areas of healing in the gut by using the GI map. So I'm all about that. Yes.
Right. I mean, your immune system is housed in your digestive system. So any kind of infection or anything that's going on, it's there. So in that GI map, you can really see, and instead people will waste their money on all these supplements, et cetera. But if you really can nail down to see what's really going on and what you're going to need to effectively treat the symptom, because there could be 1,000 things. They all have the same symptom.
Right.
Constipation and diarrhea, right? But the GI map, it's not that expensive. It's really reasonably priced for the amount of information you get. Now, I tell, what I do is there's a practitioner in my office that will prescribe the GI map, and I'll, tell my clients, it might be a good idea for you to, before you invest in A, B, and C, maybe get a GI map and see what's going on with your dysbiosis, because it's obviously dysbiosis and it's something.
Yes, totally. Mm-hmm. I fully agree with that, because until you know what's really going on, then, the treatment therapy can be a little bit like stabbing around in the dark, especially if you do something like a specialized diet, an elimination diet, probiotics, even if you do something like the colon hydrotherapy and you don't see long-term lasting relief, you want to take a closer look as to what are some of the underlying issues that might also need to be addressed in combination with those other modalities.
Right. And, here's the other thing. We were talking about this the other day. I used to, I've come some way in my practice where I used to tell people, do an elimination diet. Well, I mean, honestly, you're really kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face in that sense, because I think
it's a Band-Aid approach.
Right. Exactly. Now my approach is use a food journal. Write down what you ate and how it made you feel, and then go from there. And then, if it's all about digestive enzymes anyways, if you don't have the proper enzymes to digest the food, then of course, it's going to give you gas, and it's going to make you bloated, or it's going to, give you diarrhea, or it's going to make you constipated. If you can add a little bit, instead of totally eliminating that food, maybe just add little bits of it in, and bring your diversity of your gut bacteria up, instead of just, using it as a Band-Aid approach, actually using, food as medicine, like we were talking about in the beginning, just to circle back around. And it's really, and I've caught myself doing this, and, it just makes people, I feel like it makes people, it's almost like people are so confused. They don't know what to eat.
Oh yeah.
People say, I don't know what to eat. I've heard that so many times. So I've started changing my approach, because I think people are scared because they just don't know what to eat. So if, just telling them, okay, if you can eat as much from the land, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, add some, grass-fed, organic, protein in there, whatever you like, just good quality, as much as you can afford. And, if you can tolerate dairy, add some good dairy in there, and, or goat, I think goat's milk is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit better, easier to digest, et cetera. But, and you'll be good, all this, everyone's scared of lectins, this, that, FODMAP, and I think we need more diversity. I just do.
I agree.
It's very important to get all those minerals. It's on the soil, so you've got to really make sure you're getting those minerals as much as you can from your food, and then supplementing where you're lacking. But because some things are not in the soil, but really, I could have supplemented till my heart's content and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars when I was sick, and nothing would have changed until I changed my diet.
Yeah, that's absolutely a good point. And I can't tell you how many people have come to me with like really advanced gut issues, and they're only able to eat like 3 things, like chicken, a piece of, cucumber, and some white rice. And like, that's what their diet is: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's like, well, I understand that's what you're limited to eat, but if you have a really restricted or limited amount of foods you can eat in your diet, then there's a lot we need to get to and uncover to get to why is that all you can eat, and a goal needs to be, you need to expand that. In order to get the minerals, the nutrients into your body. And I know diet is a huge thing, and I've also found that sunlight is so huge. In doing the Sunlight RX, for those of you who've been following me, the Sunlight RX, get the sunlight on your gut. The more vitamin D you make, the bigger poops you're going to have.
Absolutely.
Yes. So important. So important. And you make dopamine and serotonin those things get replenished via sunlight and certain spectrums of sunlight. So diet, sunlight RX, is just so important here. So I think that's great you brought that up about elimination diets. If you're someone out there who's relying on an elimination diet because your gut health is so compromised, know that it's a Band-Aid approach. It's a crutch. There's nothing wrong with you. We're not blaming you or shaming you, but there's just some deeper layers we need to look at to help you get to a place with your gut health that you can achieve.
And you can enjoy your life again.
Yeah.
What kind of a life is that to not, to not be able to enjoy food?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, it's just, I think people are so scared, and it just creates more anxiety and more stress, and isn't good for their immune system in the long run. It's going to make them more unwell. So,
it does.
Yeah, no judgment at all. And I used to tell people, eliminate this, eliminate that, or do an elimination diet. And then, I think I gave people more anxiety. So
yeah,
I've really changed my view on that. I will say that.
Yeah, I hear that, but that's like a lot of the mainstream paradigm, even naturopathic functional medicine, not all of them, but a lot of them, that's their approach. Like, do the elimination diet, take a lot of probiotics, take a lot of supplements. And that's kind of where the bar stops. So much more to explore. And it's not going to get you to the root cause of your gut health struggles. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. It's a really important topic. And I think something a lot of people struggle with today.
And again, if you're not digesting, what are you doing? Because really, if you see, well, first of all, digestion, when people come in and they have a lot of undigested food in what's coming out in the session, the number one thing I want to say is chew your food. Digestion starts, in your mouth. You got to chew your food well. You're going to see undigested food if you're not chewing your food well, if you're not sitting down and eating and taking that time. The second thing is, if you are chewing your food well and you're still seeing a bunch of identifiable pieces of poop, you can, there's something going on deeper than you're eating the wrong foods.
Yeah.
There's something going on in your gut. There's a dysbiosis. There's not the correct balance. There's not the right bacteria to break that food down. And that's where we need to drill down and see what is really going on instead of eliminating those foods that you're not digesting.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be, if it's broccoli today, it's going to be lettuce tomorrow. And then it's going to be bone broth. And if you can't digest bone broth, or if you can't digest soup broth, then, a veggie broth, then that's going to be really shitty. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but
no, it's all good.
So,
yeah.
Digest or die. That's what we say in this business. So we want to make sure you're digesting what you're eating.
Yes, absolutely. If you're seeing carrots, peas, broccoli, anything like that in your stool, if you're chewing well, like you're mentioning, which is a really great point, then the other thing is you're not absorbing or assimilating that if you can actually see the undigested food in your stool. So really, really great point. So is there, to wrap things up here for today, is there any advice that you want to give or share with someone out there who's been struggling with their gut health, or let's say even poor energy, anxiety, depression, and how they can start to explore improving their gut health to support their health, their overall health?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. There's, I think just keeping it simple, before you go all crazy on so many different things, just keep it simple. Like, make sure before you do all these other things, just make sure you got your foundation correct. Make sure that you're getting your sleep, you're getting your sunlight, you're getting your exercise, you're trying to lower your stress levels. I know it's hard, but try and do your meditation in the morning if you can, just even 5 minutes, or like some yoga, some stretching, go on a walk first thing in the morning, and get that outdoor, good, amazing, fresh air, sunlight those are like the foundations. If those are if you can get those things right and still you're feeling, sluggish, brain fog, all these other things, then we can, I'd say a colon hydrotherapy session would be really, really beneficial.
Yeah.
And in getting your diet right, of course. But just be open-minded. If I wouldn't have been open-minded all those years ago, I would have never became a raw foodist, and I would have never gone on this journey and healed myself. I would still be, very sick and very unhappy, very, very unhappy. Just be open-minded and just be willing to explore different types of things. There's so many amazing practitioners out there that can help you. And I will say something, and this is going to be really kind of off the cuff, but I'm just going to say it. Nothing that insurance ever paid for me helped me.
I'm sorry. I literally just had this conversation.
I'm gonna say that. I mean, nothing, not one thing, nothing ever. It doesn't even cover. Anyways, no, I don't want to get political, but I'm just saying you may have to pay for some things out of pocket, but it will be worth every freaking penny.
Yeah.
Do your research. Do your own research. You can go on YouTube and you can fix a car engine on YouTube. You know what I mean? You can learn anything. We have access to so much information.
Yeah.
There's podcasts for everything. Just learn. Just be willing to explore and learn and be open-minded.
Yeah. I think that's really great. I literally just had the conversation before we did this interview with my partner, Jen, about how insurance, nobody actually, I mean, I don't want to say nobody, because let's say you get in a car accident and you break your leg and you need surgery. But if we're talking about like long-term care or like how to make long-term lasting improvements with your health, insurance is not going to get you there.
It's just sick care. It's just sick care.
It is.
And I don't want to be sick.
Yeah, I hear you there. And that's the unfortunate thing about our health system, is that it focuses on just maintaining or suppressing symptoms. So you just basically become numb, or the symptoms just go deeper and deeper in your body and you get sicker and sicker, versus, the work that you and I do, Amy, helping people to literally get to the root of their health concerns so that they can not suppress symptoms and actually bring them to the surface and feel better and release them from their body.
Right. Definitely. And I mean, it's nobody's fault. I don't mean to if you're a doctor out there listening to this, or a nurse, or in the healthcare field, it's just, it's not your fault. It's just a broken system that needs to be worked on. But I don't know how to fix it. I don't even know where to start.
Well, I think you're starting exactly where you need to start with helping people, in the work that you do, and, more people who benefit from that. And like, let's say people come to you and they do the angel of water, they do the castor oil packs, and hey, they don't even need a colonoscopy because they feel good and it's not even a necessary process. It's like you just benefited somebody's life by doing so.
Right. And I do actually, to be honest, to tell you, I do colonoscopy prep for people so they don't have to drink that nasty stuff. It's just a series of 3 colonics in a row. But I've had clients that have come to me and gotten their colonoscopy prep with me, and then they actually told their doctor that that's what they did. And their doctor wouldn't see them and made them go home and drink the stuff. And then they came and they didn't poop because their colon was clean. They came back the next day and they were able to do the colonoscopy. And then I've had clients that have not told their doctor that they did a colonoscopy prep with me, and the doctor did it and it was fine.
Amazing.
So, which is so crazy, because I think that there's this air about colon hydrotherapy, that it's just this crazy alternative treatment, but I know, but my clients can tell you, and I can tell you a very different story. So
yeah, I agree. I hear you there. It's like our mindset around what quality care is, what health care is really backwards. And I think, people who are more forward moving and I guess, progressive in their thoughts around what health care really is and how it doesn't include always social distancing and wearing face masks when that's not actually helpful. And, the medical community has never, ever had our best interest in mind when it comes to our health, for as far back that I can remember.
Well, I think it goes back farther than me and you, but I just, to that point, you really, people out there, and I mean, I don't want to get political, but do you really think that the government gives a shit about your health?
I mean, we would hope. We would hope, yes, but if we're being real, if we're being realistic and honest, it's like hell. It's a hell no.
Yeah, I just don't think that they have my health. I mean, I just don't. I don't, and I don't. I don't. It's, all these conspiracy theories, there's so many of them. I don't know what to think, but there is something going on more than just, I think COVID-19, the coronavirus, I think it's real. I think it's a very scary thing. And I think that if you're immune compromised and if you're elderly, it's, especially for those people, it's very scary. But I don't think that the way that we're handling it is going to be as effective as people think. I think that, there's going to have to be some kind of herd immunity. That's how we're going to kind of build our immune systems. That's how we build our immune systems. Not by wearing masks, and the mask isn't really good. Your lungs are a main channel of detoxification and elimination. And it's not good to be breathing in your own detox for 8 hours a day. And I'm respectful to everybody it's a free country. Everyone can do what they need to do, but I don't, think that taking away our basic freedoms and telling us to stay inside is beneficial to our immune systems. Yeah. Just on that point, but if you want to stay inside and if you want to wear a mask, it's a free country, please do that. And when I'm around my clients, especially the ones that are immune compromised, I am very careful and I wear a mask all day. But when I'm at home and I'm enjoying my backyard and I'm going on a run or I'm going on a walk or I'm in open air, I don't wear a mask. I don't feel good when I do that. And it's important to me to feel good every day.
Yeah, I totally hear you. And I'm not a mask wearer. I don't support it. I think there's if there were valid reason and real accurate science showing that it was helpful to the planet, to each other, to our health, I'm all on board. But that's not been the case. And the data that's out there is highly skewed. And let alone the political agenda behind wearing masks and the testing behind COVID, which is basically a logarithm system that will pump out a certain amount of positives and negatives, despite, you and I could probably walk into a clinic and there's a chance that we both or one of us could test positive for COVID, where we know there's no way in hell we have COVID. But they're using very interesting, they use the test, they've chosen the test very wisely in their perspective to be able to get the results that they want to shift the way that the people think and act. And I saw an amazing meme on Instagram the other day. I posted it on my story. It was like something along the lines, it was just a picture of people like crawling on their hands and knees. And the saying was like, if the government told you to crawl on your hands and knees, because, to prevent getting COVID, then everybody would do it. And it's like, that's so true. Like everyone is kind of taking on this stuff blindly. And I wasn't really expecting to get into this in the episode, but just to wrap it up today, it's like everything Amy and I are sharing with you is all about you being your own inner authority. Like Amy's journey of how she woke up and came to this realization that she had to change her diet and her life and her healthcare practices to support her health. And that included, paying out of pocket and not relying on a broken system to support her. And I've had similar experiences. It's like, this is the way that if you really want to be healthy and take these deeper leaps into your health, some of these, outside of the box approaches, which are considered like wild to some people, but these things have been in existence for years and hundreds and thousands of years. Like, get outside, get sunlight, eat your local foods. I mean, these are simple things that are now considered, these wild, crazy ideas.
And, I just encourage everyone to be curious, to question authority, to keep looking for answers, to do your own research. That is why we live in it's free as far as right now, a free country. We can do these things and investigate on our own and be curious and look at the science. And, without making it political or, I believe in everybody having their right to choose whatever they want, and if I want to go outside and go for a walk, me not wearing a mask, I want to be able to have that freedom as long as I'm not harming anybody. And if I'm not around anybody, I show me the science that says that I am harming other people by going on a walk without a mask on.
Yeah,
that's all. And and if you want to wear a mask, please do. It's totally your freedom, your right. No big deal for me.
Yeah, that's right. If just don't take our rights away around our body, and I'm totally good. Do what you want to do, and I'll do what I want to do, and everybody can stop being at war with one another.
Right, that's the biggest thing. Right?
Yeah.
Can we all just get along? I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm an ethical vegan to this day still, and I don't think it's the healthiest for my body, because I think that eating meat actually might do me some good, but I just can't bring myself to do it because I love animals so much. I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to hurt myself. And I feel like wearing a mask, all day long and then going for a walk out in the fresh air and wearing a mask might not be that great for my health.
Yeah. Let alone make any logical sense.
Right. Yeah. Besides that.
Sorry, I'm pretty candid with this because it really gets under my skin when my human body rights are taken away, and so I appreciate your courage to share your perspective there, because even though it's not the popular perspective right now, I think it's really important that everybody's voice can be heard and not judged. But as Amy was saying, listen to your own body, your intuition. Don't listen to what the mainstream is telling you. Go really think on your own and learn how to think for yourself, and consider, hey, does it actually make sense as to what they're saying? If people were dropping dead on the streets and, there was this, the hospitals, they couldn't take anybody else, literally most hospitals at this time are pretty empty. So we can't really, even if you want data, you can just drive by your hospital and take a look at the parking lot or walk in, and it's like a ghost town in most hospitals right now. Anyway, Amy, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all of your wisdom and knowledge around colon health and the Angel of Water and the castor oil packs and detox. It's so helpful for everyone to hear this, and I hope people struggling with their gut health, depression, anxiety, will search for an Angel of Water practitioner or colon hydrotherapist in their area. If you live in Santa Fe, look Amy up, please.
We're in New Mexico, but I think I'm the only Angel of Water system in New Mexico. So
really, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or even in Colorado, we're only a few hours away from Colorado, so. It's not that far, but if you do go to the Angel of Water Network, you will find practitioners in their network. You can go to their website and they will have a list of their practitioners, and those practitioners are very good. They're the best, in my opinion. So.
Awesome. Very, very good to know. And I'll list your website in the show notes and how people can reach out to you and connect there to purchase the castor oil packs, and how people can contact you if they live in New Mexico or Colorado or the surrounding area, to reach out for a session and to experience that potent modality, and your energy just as a practitioner and a human being in general is just really lovely to be around. So it was a real pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to future interviews and connections with you, Amy.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you're doing, and I really am just at awe with your practice as well, and I totally love your approach with the sunlight. It's just amazing. I'm so appreciative for what you do.
Thanks so much, Amy.
Mm-hmm. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for tuning into the show today. I hope you found this episode all about colon hydrotherapy and detoxification insightful along your healing path. For years, we've leaned hard on the coffee enema protocols to support our gut health, when really, if we're not rehydrating ourselves, our tissues, our colon, this approach will leave your colon and your cells and your tissue and even your liver super dehydrated. This is definitely something we want to avoid when looking to improve the health of our colon and detox pathways. Amy provided us with some awesome insight regarding effective ways to approach colon detox, specifically by seeking out colon hydrotherapists using the Angel of Water modality. And total bonus if you live in the Southwest and are able to see Amy at her private practice for a session, she uses structured water and quicksilver minerals to make sure your colon, cells, and tissues stay super hydrated throughout the detox process. Now, you can also purchase quicksilver minerals and add these specific minerals to your enemas to boost the mineral content of your enemas so they don't leave you super dehydrated. Often I suggest to my clients to do water enemas using these minerals, and there's a lot of different minerals to choose from on the Quicksilver site. So you want to make sure you're getting the right minerals for your enemas. But this is a really good resource if you do enemas on your own. You could head over to my site, heathershepard.com, and it's HeatherShepard.com to access the show notes. And this will have info with regard to Amy's practice, including her site, where you can purchase castor oil packs. And I've also posted the link there to help you find an Angel of Water colon hydrotherapist in your area. If you enjoyed this episode, I would greatly appreciate it if you could take a minute to rate and review. Each review helps more and more people just like you learn all about radical health, root causes of disease, and how to utilize nature as one of your biggest healing allies. Don't forget to take a screenshot of this episode, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at sunlight_RX. Thanks again for tuning in, and see you next week. The Primal Pioneer podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease in the Western medical sense or terms. It is to be used for educational and informational purposes only. The information shared on this podcast and all of Heather Shepard's work is not a form of diagnostic medicine, nor is it a medical treatment. Heather Shepard is a health educator, radical health practitioner, and a trained EMF specialist. And although she has a bachelor's in science and master's education in alternative medicine, she is not a medical doctor and does not give medical advice. Her work and sharing is to be used for informational and educational purposes only.